friends, today we're going to look at Fate by H.E.R. We're going to start off with easy chords and an easy strumming pattern, and then we're going to look at the way that she performs it with more advanced jazz type chords and a finger pattern. So our song is in the key of D minor, so that'll be our very first chord, and we can use our basic D minor chord, and our next chord is G, and then you can do A major or A7, where we just have that open G string right there. Yeah. Now the main song goes through a basic 4-bar phrase, going D minor to G in one measure, 3 times, and then ending on A major, or again, A7, just to give it a little bit more character. And a strumming pattern we could use very simple because it's a nice slow song, is just down strums, 2 on D minor, 2 on G. 4 strums per measure, and when we get to the A major, 4 full strums there. So I'll demonstrate with the 4 measures, starting on D minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Then to A major 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we could repeat those 4 measures all throughout the song, and we got a nice easy way to play Fate. Now for a slightly more advanced way to play it, H.E.R, when she performs it, does bar chords and 7 chords. Instead of a D minor down here, we're going to use the bar chord at the 5th fret and make it D minor 7. And if you're not familiar with D minor 7, it's a normal D minor bar chord minus our pinky. So from D minor 7, and then we're going to use our G bar chord at the 3rd fret. Again, lose the pinky, and that'll make it a 7 chord. And then finally, we can move that same shape up 2 frets, and that's our A7 chord. There we go. So, D minor 7 to G7, and same chord progression. And slide that up 2 frets to A7. So let's break down this finger pattern. We look at our 4 fingers, thumb, index, middle, and ring. Thumb on the A string, index on the D, middle on the G string, and ring finger on the B. Just those middle 4 strings. The best way to start is to grab those 4 strings, just like I am. And I have my D minor chord right here on my left hand. Hold it down, pluck down the 4 strings. Beautiful. So my whole pattern, I'm going to pluck those 4, do a slap, and then get my middle finger on the G string to pull up 1 more. That's the G string. Now you might want to practice this a couple of times before you jump into the whole chord progression. Even get in a groove with just that 1 chord. Now the same thing goes on for the next 2 chords when we go to the G7 or the A7, but my fingers right here are going to jump over starting on the E string. And then after my slap, my middle finger is now going to grab the D string. So just like our chord progression, alternate between the D minor and the G7 first. I could just strum that last one just to give it a little bit more closure. Now that's the verse, and the chorus, it does that whole progression, those 4 measures, and then the second time around it does the same thing again, but it adds 1 F7 there before the A7 chord. So the very last measure, we go F7, our same 7 shape on the 1st fret, slide up to the 5th fret, And that's how our chorus ends. We're going through our D minor, G7 chord progression. Go down to F. Now, there's two things that make this chord progression very characteristic. And what that is in the key of D minor, normally our 4th chord, which is G, is G minor. However, this song, it's a major chord, and that has a very, very strong feeling, and that actually makes it the Dorian mode. Now, if we look at the diatonic chords to D minor scale, or the D Dorian scale, we can see two significant differences that you'll find in chord progressions. The 4 chord, which is G, being G minor in your basic minor scale, or G major in the Dorian scale. So anytime the 4 chord is major in a minor key, that's Dorian. And the second thing that we note is our 2 chord. So if we have D minor and we go up to E minor, that's also our Dorian sound. And also if we look at the 5 chord, it's a minor chord in both of those variations. However, to make the 5 a major chord is very common, and especially a dominant chord, because it really pulls you in to the 1 chord. And when the 5 chord is dominant, we take that out of the D harmonic minor scale. So really we're going between 2 scales here. Dorian, and when we get to the 5 dominant chord, that's harmonic minor. Well, my friends, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please join me next week for the next one I'm going to drop on Tuesday. Your likes and comments are greatly appreciated, and I love to hear from all you guys. See what you think about this stuff and share with me what you're working on. Hit me up if you have any questions. Keep jamming.